Hey, brother.
Hey, brother. Hey, you know how in the Shawshank Redemption, Andy Dufresne escapes from the Shawshank prison?
Yes.
I actually
It's an
think...
important plot point.
Yeah, that's like basically the whole movie. But I actually think he never intended on escaping.
Really?
Yes. So,
Okay.
here's how this
State
happened.
your case.
Yeah. Let me give a little brief about Shawshank. Spoilers, obviously, but I'm assuming people have seen this movie.
Yeah.
So
if you haven't, you should.
Yeah, if you haven't, you should. It's one of those films. In Shawshank, so there's this guy named Andy Dufresne. He's got a life sentence in prison for murdering his wife. He doesn't do it, of course, but he's in prison for life. He's having a pretty rough go at it at the beginning of his prison sentence because he's got like a gang of guys that are just like assaulting him nonstop. Anyway, at the end of the movie, he ends up escaping from Shawshank prison through a tunnel that he builds in his jail cell, hidden behind a poster of Rita Hayworth originally.
Yeah.
Okay. That's Shawshank.
Yeah.
When you first watch the movie, you don't know he's going to escape from prison. So your first time watching it, you're just like, oh my gosh, this guy escaped from prison, how amazing.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I got to watch that again, because it's a totally different movie your second time viewing it. So you watch it the second time, and now you know he escapes from prison, and now you know what all these things mean. You know that like this little rock hammer that he's using to chisel chess pieces with, this is actually like his tool for escape. You know that like the Rita Hayworth poster is blocking, the hole in the cell. You know that like sometimes when he's just walking around the yard, he's actually dumping sand out into the yard. So all of these things start coming together, and you're like piecing these things together.
Yeah.
After your second viewing, then you're kind of like, I just like this movie, I want to watch it again.
Okay.
And now you're starting to see the undertones of what the kind of like the spirit of the movie is about. And the whole movie is about hope.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, hope is basically the whole movie. It actually ends with Morgan Freeman meeting up with Andy Dufresne after they've both gotten out of prison. And Morgan Freeman's saying, like, he says hope like, I don't know how many times. A bunch of times at the end. Like, I hope the Pacific is as blue as it is in my dreams. I hope to see my friend. I hope. It ends with I hope.
Yeah.
That's the whole movie. But it takes like your third, fourth time watching it before you recognize like, oh, this movie's about hope.
Yeah, that's the theme.
Yes. When you get to like my level, where you've seen this movie like at least once a year for like 20 years now.
Okay, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you've been watching this movie as long as it took Andy Dufresne to build the tunnel.
Yes. Then your mind starts sort of wandering, and you start doing the whole like writing between the lines thing, where now you're coming up with kind of like your own stories about the Shawshank. So, here's what I think happened. I think Andy gets the rock hammer from Morgan Freeman's character Red.
Yeah.
He kind of like carves into the wall and notices that like this wall is very, very fragile. Like it's very easy when you're actually watching it for how easy it is for him to carve his name into the wall with so little effort.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a like granite wall. This is a very easy thing to carve into.
This is drywall.
Yeah. It would be as easy as carving into drywall to carve into this thing. Okay? So, and at this beginning phase, Andy is still being abused by these sort of like monstrous guys in the prison.
Right.
So, I think he starts carving into the thing with the intention of like, I need to get the heck out of here as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Before these guys end up like killing me.
Yeah.
What happens though is the guards of the prison learn that Andy, being a banker in his past life, actually knows all the loopholes of like the tax code and how to get away with like keeping as much of your money as possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's now sort of like the guards, favorite inmate, and they're now protecting him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So I think what happened was Andy kept digging the tunnel as a pet project because it's already there. It gives him something to do. I don't see him as the type of guy who sleeps like even 8 hours a night. I see him more as a like 6 to 4 hours a night kind of guy.
Yeah.
Who just, and he's very kind of content with himself. So I think he just keeps digging this thing away. Now, if there's a sand problem, he used to work in the laundry. So he could have been hugging out like within his own bed sheets, like 20 pounds at a time.
Yeah.
There's also a toilet in the cell. So he could be like dumping this stuff inside of, toilet paper and just flushing it down the toilet. There's a sink in his cell. He's all the way at the end of the cell block. So at night, if he wanted to, he could just have a handful of it. And because you see guys mopping the cell floors like every day, he could just huck a handful of sand and just fling it out into the cell. Because it's just going to land sparsely and you're not going to get the impression that like, oh my gosh, somebody's digging a hole. There's a whole pile of sand here.
Right.
So I think you could also, once you get it in far enough, you could use your bed sheet to pour the sand on top of. Then you could just put it back in because now it's loose sand that only takes like a minute to just pull out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So my point is like, Andy's a smart guy who lives in Shawshank, who knows how to think in ways that gets him around things.
Yeah.
If I, in the course of like a minute right now, can come up with multiple ways of getting sand out in larger quantities, Andy can do as good, way better of a job than I could ever do.
Right.
So I don't think getting the sand out of there is his problem. I don't think tunneling is his problem either. I think this thing's going to come down very relatively fast.
Right.
He's also, if he works in the laundry, you see him kind of like in the wood shop as well. I think it was the wood shop, maybe it's the metal shop as well. So he's probably going to be able to get access to some tools if he wanted to.
Yeah.
Okay? Right. Now, there's a scene where Andy actually gets put into solitary for the first time. And then when he gets out, everyone's like, how was it? Oh my gosh, it must have been terrible. And he's like, it wasn't that bad. Because like he just lived inside of his head and was listening to like Mozart and Bach all day long.
Right.
Like he's just that kind of guy. And this is actually the first time I think in the movie where hope comes up.
Yeah.
Right? So in the outside world, it kind of sounds like Andy wasn't too popular.
Okay.
The judge kind of talks about him being like cold when he gets sentenced. So I think he comes off as being a cold, kind of creepy person on the outside. On the inside, these are favorable traits. He's quiet. He keeps to himself. He's friendly. He's not annoying.
Right.
And this is like, these are favorable traits on the inside. To be a kind of like cold, distant person makes it easy to become a friend with you.
Keep your head down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't get into trouble.
Don't cause any trouble. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Don't don't talk my ear off. Understand these basics, like principles. So he gets to a point now where he has more friends, close friends on the inside of prison than he probably ever did on the outside.
Okay, yeah. He has more ties.
Yes. And he's now gets to a point where, because he knows all this tax stuff and all this how to like get away with money laundering and all this other stuff, he has more top level connections in prison than he ever did on the outside. So it's kind of like, do you want to be, a friendless person in a big city where you could do anything 24 hours a day, but you have no friends? Or do you want to be somebody who's popular in a small town where everything closes at like 6 o'clock, but you got like 5 to 10 close friends that you can do stuff with? And it's like, well, I think most people would choose the small town.
Yeah. So after a while, then he's actually living a pretty good life. He's got close friendships that he didn't really have outside. He has a purpose, a job that feels like it gives him purpose. It's like a high level position where he feels important.
Yes.
Like, he didn't do so good on the outside. He's doing actually pretty well on the inside.
Yes. So I think you can see like when he's not doing so well those first couple years where he's getting bullied, he's taking actions towards escape. Then he starts
that's when he starts the tunnel.
Yeah, that's when he starts the tunnel. Then I think he keeps doing it as a pet project just because it gives him hope of escape.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, it's kind of like the difference between you can leave anytime you want to, so you don't leave, because you're like, I know I can leave anytime I want to, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, but I'm kind of actually enjoying myself. Yeah. May as well stay.
Exactly. First is you can't leave, and now this cloud of I can't leave is hanging over your head, and now all you want to do is leave.
Yeah.
So I think Andy's doing stuff to maintain his hope of escape, of leaving Shawshank, even though anybody has that idea, like, the tunnel's there, I could always use it if I wanted to, but I'm probably never going to use it because now I'm building this library.
Yeah.
And now I'm helping the guys get their general education and their high school diploma, and I'm teaching guys how to read. And these are things you don't do. You don't start building these relationships with people and helping people out and building a library. Yeah, if your intention is like, and I'm going to leave it all behind, and who gives a crap?
Right.
Like no one would do that. If your main intention is escape, you're not going to be building ties with people, and you're not going to be helping people get their high school diploma, and you're not going to be building a library that you're proud of, and you're not going to be, going out of your way to help the guards and the warden to evade the government's tax, code.
Yeah.
I just don't see these as things that you would be doing. So I think Andy actually finishes the tunnel after about like 10 years or so, then just hangs it up.
Yeah.
Because when they end up finding the rock hammer, it's worn down.
Yeah. Right.
And I'm like, why didn't he get a new one? He knows the guy that can get him one.
Yeah.
So if he could have eventually just gotten. You would have gotten, if you were trying desperately to escape, you would have gotten yourself a new rock hammer after the 10-year period. But I think he spent about 10 years, got rid of then the rock hammer was just no longer of use to him anymore.
Yeah.
He made his chessboard. I already did that. I dug my tunnel. I already did that. This is just the thing I've never told anybody about. And now I'm building my library. And this is the thing that's important to me.
Yeah.
But then something happens. The guy that he's helping get his high school diploma, that's going to actually, I think, be leaving prison in a year or so, a young guy that everybody likes, he ends up trying to help Andy because he had a cellmate that was the actual murderer of Andy's wife, and he knows it. So he's going to help Andy get out through the whole legal system.
Yeah.
But the warden doesn't want Andy to leave because Andy's making the warden money.
Yeah.
So they end up killing this guy.
Right.
And then they throw Andy in the hole for a month or two, and Andy comes out no longer a person who's got all this hope in him.
Right. Yeah.
So now Andy's he's lost his hope, and now he knows I either have to figure out if I can use the tunnel to escape.
Yeah.
Or I'm probably going to end up like Brooks did. Brooks is an older gentleman from the prison who ends up leaving, and he hangs himself because he just can't cope with dealing with the outside world. Yeah. And he's also too kind to really hurt somebody to get sent back into prison.
Yeah.
So Andy's at that point now where he's like, I can't stay in the prison.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to end up like Brooks. So I got to try and use the tunnel.
Yeah.
So I think he's just now at a point where he's biding his time and coming up with the plan of how do I get all the stuff that I need to get in order to leave.
Yeah.
So for me, it's too big of a coincidence that Andy ends up finishing the tunnel.
Yeah.
Having one of his friends, his young friends that's going to leave prison, that's got the new wife and baby, that just got his high school diploma, get killed. He's now lost any chance he's ever going to get of escaping or leaving.
Right. Yeah.
That all these things just happen at the exact same time, even within the exact same year.
Yeah.
Would be, I think, a little crazy. So I think Andy finished the tunnel like years before, maybe even like 10 years before. He spends like 28 years in the prison.
Yeah.
Probably his first 10 to 15 years, he finished this tunnel. And it was just there, and it was almost something that fueled him, like, I can leave anytime I want to, guys. Even though he knows, like, I might not be able to leave, but it's there fueling my hope.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think Andy chooses, I'm going to take a chance and just try and get out of here. And if I can't make it out, I'm going to end it because I can't handle this anymore.
Yeah.
But he just so happens to actually escape. So yeah, Shawshank. It's one of those things where like I've seen the movie a lot.
Right.
I've read the script multiple times.
Yeah.
It's a good script too to use if you're a screenwriter, to just look through and see how they handled some of the scenes.
Okay.
Especially when you know the movie as well as I do, because then you can see the scene and see how they wrote it and be like, okay, and it makes it easier for you to like write something down.
I'll have to read that one.
Yeah,
I read that screenplay.
It's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I read the novella, the Stephen King novella.
I was going to ask that if you'd read Stephen King's.
I did. Yes.
Okay.
I would.
How was it?
I would skip it. That's how I felt about it. The movie is so much better.
Yeah.
But I'm one of those guys who a lot of the times I like the movie better. A lot of the times.
Yeah.
Because I think
I'm a lot like that too.
Yeah. Like I think I just probably a lot more of a visual person than also I'm dyslexic, so reading isn't like something that's as natural for me as it is for most people.
Yeah.
So it's
neither is writing.
Yeah, well, neither. Yeah, writing shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be.
Yeah.
I think it allows you to kind of like think outside of the box on a lot of these things, or it's like you look at writing in a different way than most people do because you're dyslexic.
Yeah.
So it's like stuff like Shawshank, when you're like reading through it or when you're watching it, you have these like out of the box ideas, out of the box thoughts, where like writing between the lines like this, like I probably wouldn't have thought of it. I kind of think of it like, Andy, it took him 28 years to finish the tunnel. Whatever.
Yeah.
That's what Morgan Freeman says, and he wouldn't lie. He's that Penguin narrator.
He's the narrator for every movie.
Yeah. But that makes a lot of sense though. That like he finished it. I like the idea of him finishing it like in the first 8 years, 10 years.
Yeah.
And then it's like he starts building this life inside where he's like, my tunnel's finished, but like I almost don't even want to use it. I don't need it really.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of nice in here, and he doesn't use it until he's like, oh, like I don't know if I want to continue my life here. Like I think that that ship has sailed and I got to get out of here.
Yeah, it's played out now, and he needs to leave. But I think
prison isn't fun anymore.
Yeah. But I think it's fun to do that type of stuff because it's like here's the reality of it. Okay, the Shawshank Redemption is not a true story. Somebody wrote it.
Right.
And Stephen King has his own ideas behind some of the things that aren't said on the page.
Okay.
And the screenwriter has their own ideas, separate from Stephen King.
Right.
On some of the things that happened that weren't said in the script. And the director has their own ideas.
Probably, yeah.
Yes. And I also have my own ideas. Then you have to now come up with this whole like, well, who's correct? And none of us are. All of us are. I think so long as you come up with a story that makes sense, that satisfies you, that's fun, that heightens your enjoyment of something, I think that's a worthwhile adventure, and it's a good sort of like writing practice too, to come up with this story.
Yeah. I was gonna say that it's a good exercise for a writer, because a lot of times that's kind of part of the process, and it's sort of what we're showing a little bit when we kind of go back and forth trying to come up with ideas. It's not about which idea is correct; it's about which idea is best. And it's like we'll go back and forth and try and, well, what about this? Well, what about that? And then when we come up with one that really works and that really makes sense and really sets everything into place, then it's like, okay, that's what we do, and that's what we move forward with.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what writing between the lines is, where it's like, this is what makes sense for me, for Andy Dufresne, where it's like, if I were writing it, this is how I would have written it, where
Yes.
everything falls into place.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah. Kind of a fun little thing, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it doesn't change the movie at all in any way, shape, or form.
Right. Right.
Yeah. But it's just there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Unless you had anything you wanted to add on Shawshank.
No, I think that's it.
You had another Reinventing the Wheel.
Yes. So let me see if I can remember.
Yeah. Do you know what it is? I don't know what it is. You never told me.
Yeah. So, So what it is let me give you the sort of like the beginning of this thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's then I'll tell you what the Reinventing the Wheel is. So it starts out in a car chase.
Okay.
So we have our very obvious protagonist.
Yes.
In our car, and he's chasing somebody in another car, right? Going through a busy freeway. They're like dodging things, all sorts of stuff, trying to like banging up against each other.
Yeah.
So, right. And obviously the audience is just like, we don't know what's going on.
Right.
Okay. The guy kind of like ducks down a little bit and looks up at the sun.
Okay.
And you can see that the sun has a little tiny, what may be a like black dot in the middle of it.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And he's kind of like, and this, you can see that this is causing him concern.
Yeah.
That there's this weird appears to be black dot in the middle of the sun. Very tiny, almost unnoticeable, but it's there. And the audience can see it as well.
It's a big enough concern to distract him from the fact that he's in the middle of a car chase.
Yes, of a car chase. Yes.
Okay. All right.
So he bangs this car. It spins out, does that whole thing. He gets out, pulls his pistol, executes the driver, goes, like runs over. He's looking through the car for something, It's like pulling the driver out, getting him out of there, like looking through. He's looking through the driver, trying to see if the driver has something. He's looking for something. We don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So he's in the back seat, nothing. He goes over, grabs the keys from the driver, pops the trunk. Trunk lifts up. He looks in the back of the trunk, and he's like confused. There's a person in the trunk.
All right.
Okay. I don't know if like what this person should be, if it should be like a child, if it should be a man or a woman, or I have no idea.
Right. Okay.
Right? But there's a child in the back.
Okay.
A person in the back. Right? He grabs the I can't even keep saying. He grabs the person.
Yeah.
So he grabs the person, he throws them inside of like his trunk,
Okay. Yeah.
So to him, this is a package.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
He throws them inside of his trunk. He goes to get inside of his car. Before he gets in, he looks up at the sun one more time, and you can still see that little black dot on the sun.
Right. Yeah.
Now he closes his door, gets off, and drives off. And now he's driving towards a location.
Yeah. Yeah.
Opens the phone, is like, I'm on my way.
Okay.
And they're like, hurry. He's like, I know. Goes over, gets to the location. It's a church.
All right.
So gets out into the church. There's guys there, like monks or something like that, dressed in robes. And they're like, what did the driver, what did he have on him, And he pops the trunk, and they're like looking, and now they're a little bit confused too.
Okay. Yeah.
And they're like, okay, let's do it. And they grab the person out, put him in the church. They put the person on the altar.
Yeah.
There's a guy looking through a thing up at the sun,
Yeah.
And they're like, brother, brother McGillicuddy, how's it looking?
McGillicuddy.
Right. He's, he's like, it's growing, And they're like,
bigger,
okay.
yeah.
They're like, okay, like let us know. They perform a ritual, right?
Yeah.
And they burn the body.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe they kill it first, like with a knife, and then they burn it,
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they're looking, and they're like, Brother McGillicuddy, and he's like, it didn't work. You know, and now you can see, you can kind of see the sun, and you see the black dot like kind of like get a little bit bigger on the sun.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is the Reinventing the Wheel is this is a story with no exposition, no backstory, and no character ever says anything that the other character already knows. There is no wise Obi-Wan Kenobi sage who's teaching you about the Force, because you don't know what the Force is.
Yeah.
There is no character like that. Our main character already knows what's going on.
Right.
You know? So they're not going to be...
something going on screen.
Yes.
And the characters already know what's happening.
Yes.
So there's no need for any of them to explain it to the audience.
Yes. They don't need to explain it to each other, therefore they're not going to explain it to the audience. You can't have a flashback, so there's no backstory. There's no flashbacks.
Okay.
There's no exposition.
Yeah.
No one is explaining this stuff beyond what they would in normal conversation between two people who already know what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the Reinventing the Wheel.
Okay. Okay.
So we know, so now it's like, what do we know? We know there's like a ticking clock in that there's this black dot on the sun that seems to be getting bigger. We don't know what it is though. We know there seems to be some weird ritual thing that's involved here. So we know that these guys think they might be able to stop it if they can burn the correct thing.
Right, yeah.
They thought it was this person potentially, and it wasn't, you know?
Yeah.
So these guys have just killed somebody.
Right, yeah.
So these aren't necessarily the good guys.
Yeah.
Unless it's just like we're at war and we have to do what you have to do sometimes when you're at war. To save billions, we're going to maybe have to kill like 100 or 1,000 people.
Yeah.
To save the planet, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
This is interesting because since there's no exposition, we can't have them... Okay, so they burn this body.
Yes.
And Brother McGillicuddy says that it doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
And because there's no exposition, we can't have them be like, why didn't it work? Like, they already know, like...
They know why it didn't. That it's the wrong thing. They tricked us. Yeah.
So, like, they can't ask the question. They just got to be like, they got us.
Yeah.
And then they have to, like, go out and head towards something.
Whatever the next location is,
Yeah.
Wherever they think,
so that they can try and find this thing that they need to burn.
Yes.
Whatever that thing is.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I know.
So,
but the thing is, like, I think the trick is, like, you as the writer can know. You can know the backstory and the exposition and all that stuff. You just can't, needlessly shove it out there to the audience.
Yeah. So here's my first impression is as far as the way that it would need to be filmed. It would need to be shot similar to like something like Hardcore Henry or like Run Lola Run. Run Lola Run might be a good example.
Yeah, yeah.
Where it's just like we're gonna try this. Oh, it didn't work. Okay, we're gonna go over here now. We have to try this. We have to go there. And so it's just kind of like you're there for the journey, and they're in this nonstop kind of race.
Yes.
Against time.
Yes.
And if that means another car chase, if that means like there's gonna be fights, there's gonna be like people that they're trying to get this item from, whatever it is, that are all wearing basically the same thing, the same uniform.
Yeah. Yeah, we could do something like that too.
I mean, that's the only form of exposition we'd be able to use. Like, we'd have to use props and wardrobe in order
to sort of, to distinguish, like, here's one team versus the other team.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're actually wearing football jerseys.
Yeah.
I guess that's that guy. Yeah, he has the ball.
Why do they have their last names on the back?
McGillicuddy. Who they are. They're all called McGillicuddy. Okay, so I don't want to jump to the end, but...
Jump. We'll go wherever you have to go.
Because there's no exposition, I really like the idea of kind of pulling a rug out from under people, giving an ending that's different from what people would expect.
Yeah.
So you see this black thing that's getting bigger. Right. What it suggests,
yes,
because there's no exposition,
right.
what it suggests is that the sun is going out.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But what I think might be kind of an interesting end is more like there's something in front of the sun that's blocking it out.
Ooh.
And once it's blocked out, then there's like pitch black creatures.
Oh, yeah.
That are now able to like swarm, and so like they're waiting this thing out. Like they're hoping that this thing can like block the entirety of the sun, so that they can now swarm and like harvest the people.
Yeah.
So like they're light sensitive. Whatever creatures there are, there's aliens or something. They're light sensitive, and they're trying to set up this sun blocker so that they can go in and start eating people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that would be kind of an interesting like climax where it's like the sun's out.
Yeah.
Here they come.
Yeah.
You know? And then you see them coming.
Yeah. So like the big one, for some reason the big one can't come into the Earth because of like the atmosphere or something weird, I don't know. And then, well, maybe not. If it can go close, if it can get that close to the sun, it probably is pretty immune to just about anything. But yeah, that's actually kind of a cool like idea.
Yeah, it's like people. I think while people are watching, if this thing's getting bigger and bigger, then there's going to be this level of like tension where there's this ticking clock, and it's like what's going to happen when it goes all the way.
Yeah.
Like it looks like the sun is just going to get like sucked into this black hole, or like it's going to it's going to go out, and then that's going to be whatever.
Right, yeah, that's like death.
Like an ice age.
Yeah, that's huge. Well, that would just be death for us if we didn't have the sun anymore.
Yeah. But what's actually happening is there's like a ship or something that's like trying to place itself as like an eclipse, so that there's no light.
Yeah, like an alien invasion.
Yeah.
Style
and the problem
thing.
The problem with that idea is that the ritual would have to work for some reason. And so it's like it might have to be more along the lines of like demons rather than aliens, because ritual would not work for alien, but ritual would work for demon.
Yeah, I think that the demon is kind of like more the way I was going. Okay. More that route, with the whole religious kind of thing. They're doing the ceremony. Something's blotting the sun out. We don't know what it is, Okay. I think the idea of like some demon creature, either trying to block it out so that it's like its minions can now come down,
Yeah.
And it's just gonna rain up there with the sun while its minions come down to Earth and take over the Earth, or I think that idea is like really cool. Something. I like the idea of something being so big it blots out the sun, though. Like something so big that it could like eat the sun, But then if it's in front of if it's so big to block out the sun, it would have to be moving towards us to blot it out. But if it's so big to eat the sun, it would have to be moving. It would be so big it would already be blotting the sun out as it's moving towards the sun. So it would have to be coming from the backside of the sun. So it'd be like
it'd have to be coming toward us.
Yeah, so there'd be like
bigger.
It would be like a black ring around the sun that's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, because that's like its mouth or something.
Oh, okay.
So instead of a dot, it would be that.
Sun.
Yeah, it would be that.
That would look cool.
That would be creepy though, huh? But either way, I think that's kind of interesting. But like, the question is, would it even work though to do a movie like this?
I think that it could, because it's an action film.
Yeah.
You can maintain attention from the audience, and like it's kind of intriguing, because now it's like a puzzle. Like it's like a riddle. You're trying to figure it out.
Yeah. Like,
what is this thing? What is this like black dot in the sun? Like it's getting bigger. There's some kind of ticking clock here. I don't know what's going to happen when it like actually gets big enough, but there's a ritual that is suggested to be able to stop it.
Yeah.
There are like bad guys that want this to happen for some reason.
Right.
And then I think that because we're avoiding exposition, there can be a lot of really interesting reveals
Yes.
that will be surprising to the audience, but not surprising to any of the characters.
Yeah.
So, like, when this, like, if this guy gets to, the football jersey temple,
Right.
and he's fighting a bunch of McGillicuddies,
Yeah.
and then he, like, opens up a door, and there's one of the little creatures inside.
Ooh. Yeah.
Then, like, he just readies himself for, like, a fight with one of these creatures. Like, he's not surprised to see a monster.
Yeah.
But the audience would be like, what the heck is that? Like, like, what is this movie?
Yeah.
So, like, that could work.
I really like that. I think this could be the first time he sees one.
Yeah.
But he knows what it is, and he knows how to deal with it. But it's his first time doing it. So instead of the, like, what is that? It's more like, oh, I knew this was going to happen.
Yeah.
And now he's, like, kind of...
We can even have sort of, like, a tool. Not really
Flashlight.
MacGuffin, but, like... a lighter. Just turns this lighter on. But you know what? A flashlight's not a bad idea. I was gonna say something like a scepter, like something that, like, is ritualistic and doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, what is this? It looks like just a brooch. So he sees that and then starts, like, running toward it.
Yeah. A flash bomb would be an interesting one.
A flash bomb would, that would work. That would work.
Yeah. That would be kind of a
little
cool
mirror.
One.
It's just reflecting the sun.
But
it's like,
also, I know, right? Wouldn't that be funny? Also, if he knows what it is, but he isn't expecting to run into one, he might not be prepared tool-wise to deal with it.
Right.
So he's got to, like, look around to, like, his surroundings, like Jason Bourne, where he's, like, rolling up the magazine to kind of fight with.
And that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, like, when he sees it, it's gonna look like he's just running away.
Yes.
But he's actually trying to get to the flashlight, or he's trying to get to, like, the outside where the sun is.
Yeah. Or maybe, maybe,
this
like,
could work.
Yeah, maybe on the way down he walks past, like, some, like, munitions.
Yeah.
So, like, he's running back to get to that,
Yeah.
But there's maybe, like, a cultist there as well.
Yeah.
And now the cultists in this thing are, like, working together to try and get this guy, And you're like, you're like, how the heck is this guy gonna, like,
I kind of like the idea of like, if they are demons, like, something like bullets, weapons doesn't really work on them. Like, it's like you can't grab a bullet and, like, shoot them. So it's like, maybe he does, like, come across ammunition. Mm-hmm. And it would be confusing to the audience why he's not trying to, like, load his gun. And it's like, what he's actually trying to do is ignite the gunpowder so that he can create a flash.
Yeah. That's kind of cool. Yes. Something like that is very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that,
like,
like,
stuff like that, like, the audience would be kind of, like, on edge and, like, shoot him,
Yeah.
He's like, we never explain why he's not shooting them because there's no exposition.
He's got the gun in one hand and a little tiny Bible in the other. Throws the Bible, hits the thing in the head, doesn't do anything. Ow!
It's, like, a really cool idea, but for some reason in my head, the demons are really stupid looking. Like the killer clowns from outer space. Vital burns.
You could have even the demons where they're very, very strong in the dark. Like, stronger than a human, but they start getting weaker and weaker and weaker as they're entering more and more into the light.
Yeah.
To the point where, like, in the light now, like, if he can actually get it in the light, then, like, if he hits it, he'll just, like, shatter its face. It'll just shatter like glass,
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that style thing where it's like you don't want it in the dark because it's super strong in the dark. You have to use some sort of light source.
Yeah.
Before you attack it.
Okay. All right. So we have sort of a structure in place.
Yeah.
It'd be shot kind of like Run Lola Run. It's just, we're along for the ride.
Yeah.
A lot of action, a lot of stuff going on.
Right.
Certain reveals happening where it's just kind of like it's unfolding before us.
Yeah.
The sun eventually ends up getting blotted out.
Right.
We see these creatures coming in.
Yeah.
They have to now save the day. So they find whatever this thing is that they need to burn.
Yeah.
And it's got to be like the cultist, the lead cultist, he has to have now benefited from the fact that there's no sun.
Oh, yeah.
So like maybe like I don't know, like he kind of takes on some of the attributes of the demon, like
he gets possessed or something, you know.
Yeah. So he's like strong like a demon.
Yeah.
And he has this item, whatever the item is.
Yeah.
There's this final fight with the cultist.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The guy gets the item. Brother McGillicuddy and friends.
Yeah.
Kind of like they burn it. They do the ritual.
Yeah.
And then like the sun starts kind of slowly coming back.
Yeah.
I almost feel like I want there to be like a character who's kind of along for the ride but doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
And at the end have them say like, what just happened? And then end it there.
Yeah, that would be kind of funny.
It's kind of a nod to the fact that there's no exposition. Where it's like, let me ask a question here, and then it cuts to black.
Yeah. I think I like where you're going with it, with the head cultist.
Yeah.
I think you have the head cultist, he's getting like possessed and becoming more powerful.
Right.
And then I think our main guy comes in and looks and sees that the head cultist is holding this staff.
Yeah.
And we kind of narrow in on the staff, like, that's it. So then he ends up getting the staff away, burns it, but it doesn't stop.
Okay.
So it's like, it's not the staff, it's the head cultist. So you actually have to kill the head cultist. The staff is just, you know.
Yeah. Okay. So they're chasing these guys around, thinking that they're whatever they're carrying around with them is what they need to burn, but it's actually like the cultist himself.
Yes. Then they can have the ritual where he's just putting his cell phone on speaker, and the monk on the other side is saying the ritual through the cell phone while he's performing all the actions.
Okay.
And he's like, and this our main guy, you can kind of tell like doesn't really know how to do it. So he's like, he's getting coached through it, and now you're hoping like, it's like, you got to make sure you're doing this right, you know?
Yeah.
Like that kind of, so now we're like, even if he does defeat the cultist, kills him, burns him, you know, did it stop? Oh, that's how we end it. Did it stop?
So we don't know if it stopped or not. Yeah.
Black.
Yeah,
did it stop?
He asks if it worked.
Credits.
And it cuts to black because we can't get any exposition. So there's this cliffhanger. It ends on cliffhanger.
Yes, there's no exposition even at the ending because we're a bunch of jerks.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, we are a bunch of jerks writing an ending like that. And then the sequel is like super exposition heavy.
Yeah, no, the sequel is just nothing.
There's not any action.
Oh no, 2 hours of nothing. No, just black screen.
He's reading a book.
Yeah. It's just black screen. Like we lost in the first one. The sun's gone. The earth is gone. The second movie is just nothing. We're just floating through space.
An hour 40 minutes of black screen.
Of black screen.
We'll be hailed as brilliant surrealist artists. These guys, so brave. Be like, all right.
Starring Billy Joe as McGillicuddy #1. And, McGillicuddy #2. Oh, everyone's a McGillicuddy. McGillicuddy #3.
Everybody's a McGillicuddy. All of them. Yeah. That's not bad. It actually works. It actually it makes for a movie that I feel like I almost want to write it.
Yeah. I think the trick is just to find enough stuff that leads to other stuff. Like he's doing this doesn't work, so now he's got to go to this spot, to this spot, to this spot. And it's all kind of, it's all leading to the next thing, the next sort of action scene, the next. And I think after, after really like the lock-in, I think the audience will be like, I kind of get what's going on.
Yeah, yeah.
And we're moving forward, and now you can kind of see the sun. You can see the black dot getting bigger over the sun, you know?
Right.
So you know, like, oh, there's a ticking clock. It's almost like a real-time thing as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't think it'll be too confusing for the audience.
Right.
Past the first, like, 20 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I think it would actually be a lot of fun. All right. That's pretty good for as far as reinventing the wheel goes. Like that's pretty good, right? A movie with no exposition, still really watchable, still really good. But we had a game. Mm-hmm. Valentine's Day is coming up.
Yes.
And we were going to play 5-word synopsis.
That's right.
And
5-word synopsis.
Valentine's edition. Is that what this is?
Yeah. So I'm going to say a word.
Okay.
I'll start a timer. You got 30 seconds. Every 5 seconds, I say a new word. If you get it on the first word, you get 5 points. Every word I say after that, you lose a point. All the way down to if you can't get it after 30 seconds, you get no points.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So normally with the other 5-word synopsises, I was, you're my brother. I care about you. I was trying to make it so you could be successful. Right, no longer is any of that true.
Okay.
I think this one will kick your behind.
Really? All right. You're going to stump me.
Yeah. But I went on IMDb. These are all... I don't think they're Valentine's Day movies. I think they're just
like romantic movies.
Yeah, movies you can watch on Valentine's Day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
All right.
So
prepare myself.
Number 1.
Okay.
Verona.
Romeo and Juliet.
Yes.
You're going to have to do better than Verona. That is Fair Verona, where we lay our scene. It's literally the first line in the play.
All right. So yeah, Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the other ones. Yeah, 2 was Mercutio, 3 was Tybalt.
Okay.
4 was DiCaprio.
Okay. Yeah.
And 5 was A Plague on Both Your Houses.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because I like having the 5th one be kind of a phrase.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. That was a little embarrassing.
It's okay.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Number 2, get ready to get schooled.
Okay.
Ship.
Ship. Titanic?
Yes. Son of I seriously thought you were going to get bamboozled with these. I really did. Okay, so
oh, man.
Number 2, I had Sinking. 3 was DiCaprio. 4 was Billy Zane.
Nice.
5 was Arnold Vosloo is not Billy Zane. That's the name of the guy.
The guy who played the mummy?
Yeah, the guy who played the mummy. I guess his name was Arnold Vosloo.
Yeah,
anyway, he's not Billy Zane, by the way.
He's not Billy Zane. I'm not convinced.
All right, here we go.
It's like a phantom.
Yeah, let me mark these real quick because you're just okay. All right. Number 3.
Yeah.
Pop.
Pop.
Plants.
Music and lyrics.
Yes. Gosh, you got it before I got to the next one. Okay, so I said 2, so you got 4 on that one. Okay, so yeah, pop, plants. 3 was Barrymore.
Okay.
4 was Grant.
All right.
Then 5 was washed up singer writes song with plant lady.
Okay. yeah, that's a great movie.
Lyrics. It's a lot of fun.
Really good music in it too.
Okay. Prepare yourself.
Okay.
Number 4.
Mm-hmm.
Bookshop.
Bookshop.
Film star.
Film star.
Anna Scott. Grant. I'm just a girl standing in front of a boy.
Notting Hill.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Gosh, that's what happens.
I have not seen Notting Hill.
You haven't seen it?
No, I haven't seen the Notting Hill.
Well, guess what you're going to be doing this Valentine's Day?
I know, yeah.
So I think you got one on that one. You got one on that one, and you can expect a whole lot more of that, buddy. Here we go.
You can expect a lot more of that.
Yeah.
Love means never having to say you're sorry. I'm like, come on, man.
The funny thing is, like, you know, people watching this, no one's going to know what that is other than you and me.
That's true. That might be true, yeah.
But maybe that's in here, so I'm not going to say what it is. Okay.
Okay, all right.
Number 5. Email.
You've got mail.
Gosh dang it, you got to be... Hey, wow.
We gotta try a 5-word synopsis where I'm doing it for you and see.
Then it's gonna be horrible. We played that other game.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was like, there was stuff I was missing where I was like, I can't believe I can't figure this one out. But
yeah.
Okay, this one. I honestly though on this one you do need to prepare yourself. This one's gonna be outlandishly difficult. You'll never get it.
All right.
Here we go. Okay, number 6. Duke.
Duke.
1876.
Huh.
Modern day.
What?
Meg Ryan. If they lived in the same century, they'd be perfect for each other.
No idea.
Oh my gosh, you didn't get it!
No idea.
Kate and Leopold.
Oh, okay. I've never seen this.
You've never seen it? Oh my gosh,
No.
You're terrible at this.
I know.
That's a 0.
I know.
That might be the first 0 you've ever gotten.
That is. This might, yeah. I guess romance is not my genre. I've seen a lot of movies and I know a lot about film history. But yeah, I guess romance movies is my weak spot.
I've seen every one of these movies on the list multiple times. So I guess
Really?
romance is my genre.
Yeah. Watching it, clutching a teddy bear.
Yeah, I know. Crying. Buy myself flowers. Okay. Number 7.
All right.
Russia. Yuri.
Was this
Lara.
Karenina?
Omar Sharif.
Oh, Dr. Zhivago.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So you
It's
got
a good one. I haven't seen that for a long time. For a while.
1 point, I think. 2 points? Yeah, you got 2 points.
Yeah. What was the last clue on that?
The last clue was directed by David Lean.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't know if you were going to know that, but same guy who did Lawrence of Arabia.
Right.
He's that director.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Usually you know the director. So. Okay. Here we go. Number 8.
All right.
Reporter. Wedding. Left at the altar.
Runaway Bride?
Yes.
All right.
The next one was Julia Roberts.
Okay.
And then the last one was Not Pretty Woman.
Yeah. It's the other Julia Roberts Richard Gere classic.
So I think you got 3 points on that one.
Yes.
I think. I have no idea anymore. All right. Okay, here we go. Prepare yourself for this one.
All right, I'm prepared.
Okay. Number 9, prostitute.
Pretty Woman.
Yes. So, the first one was prostitute. Wait, so in the last clue, not Pretty Woman was the last one. In this one, the first clue is prostitute. The second clue is pretty. The third clue is woman. The fourth clue is Pretty Woman. And the fifth clue is this one is Pretty Woman. Because I was like... Yeah,
that was a good one.
Yeah, because literally when I put that first clue down, I was like, there's no way you can't get this.
So many romance movies about prostitutes.
Here we go. Number 10.
Okay.
Fanny. Ziegfeld.
Oh, this sounds familiar.
Nick Arnstein. Omar Sharif.
Oh, shoot. What is this?
Can I roller skate?
No idea.
Yeah, I got you again, dude. I got you again.
It stumped me.
That is Funny Girl.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it sounded familiar. Ziegfeld Girls.
So, I don't know if you noticed, but I chose
an
actor, and I put them in 2 clues. So there's 5 actors.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay, so there are 2 Omar Sharif movies.
Yes. 2 Omar Sharif movies.
There were 3 Julia Roberts movies, but it was 2 Richard Gere and 2 Hugh Grant.
3 Julia Roberts?
Yeah, it's Pretty Woman, Notting Hill,
and
Runaway Bride.
Yeah, for Notting Hill, though, I was using Hugh Grant.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
But she's in 3 of them, yeah.
So yeah, Omar Sharif, Richard Gere, Hugh Grant. I don't remember the other movies. Leonardo DiCaprio. And I
think you got 30.
Okay.
I think you got 35.
Bad.
10,
That's
15,
my worst though, right?
20. It is your worst, yeah.
Yeah.
24, 25, 28, 30. Yeah, you got 30. Wow. Embarrassing. Okay. Here we go. All right. So you are in the, now we're doing the whole, points thing. You are in the 25 to 34 range.
Okay, yeah.
You are Omar Sharif. It doesn't take a doctor to see that you choked a little while trying to say the movie names. It was funny, some of your gambles you took, and I bet you wish you could have had another Java go at it.
All right. I like all of that.
I know. And then, I can't wait for people to be like, who the heck is Omar Sharif?
Yeah, it's like there are a lot of puns in that answer. Hopefully you get it.
Do you want me to go up to the top and read down?
Yeah, let's go top down.
So here's what you could have gotten.
Yeah.
So you were Omar Sharif. You could have potentially gotten 45 to 50. This is like top points.
Right.
You are Leonardo DiCaprio with a titanic amount of points. You are the king of the 5-word synopsis in this Valentine's Day, Romeo.
Aha, all right. Yeah.
So 35 to 44, you are Julia Roberts. You didn't completely run away with the game, but you got those gears spinning 3,000. You hooked most of the points and are one of the Richard players.
You hooked. That's a good one.
Yeah. So then, Omar Sharif was the 25 to 34. So now we're going down to 15 to 24. So 15 to 24, you are Hugh Grant. You could have had more points if you didn't stutter and apologize your way through every single movie you've ever been in. Pop goes your points.
That's a good one.
Yeah. And then there's 0 to 14. You are Meg Ryan. Wait, there's more. Wait, there's more.
There's more?
You are Meg Ryan. Time was not on your side. You check your box for Valentine's Day cards, but you don't got mail.
Oh man, that was fun. I thought that was it. You're Meg Ryan. Oh my gosh. You don't got mail. Well, all right, man. That was Five-Word Synopsis Valentine's Edition. My worst outing on this game so far.
Still 30 points, though. Still mid-range points.
Yeah, but you did stump me. You stumped me twice. So that's pretty good. Well, yeah, man. I think those were some pretty good pages. So until next time, I'll see you, brother.
Right. Later, brother.